Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fringe Toast. This is a Fringe Toast Live. It's Friday, and it's been kind of a gloomy Friday here in Georgia. It's raining, storming really bad through the majority of the morning and into the afternoon. But it's cold now. It's gloomy. I want this spring to go ahead and settle in and quit playing with my emotions is what I really want to happen. We've got a really fantastic show in order for you tonight. I'm very excited about this. I have not touched any of this material yet because I'm very, very excited to do that on air. So I'm going to be reading this stuff for the first time in front of you, and we'll get into that here in just a second. Rachel may jump in at some point tonight. Don't know. She may be still out. There's a dog barking in the background. I'm here alone with the dog. I'm not going to leave him stranded with the door closed. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to do that to him. But anyway, as I was saying, Rachel might be out chasing leprechauns left over from St. Patrick's Day. But in any event, let's go ahead and get into this. All right. Let's start at the top. The link is in the description box. If you guys want to read along, feel free to chime in at any point. Grab the link and go. Or if you want to find it yourself, go to vault.fbi.gov. And I just searched for UFOs and found my way to this. Actually, there was an interview that I did a short video over on our YouTube channel, probably about a week ago, it seems. And there was the FBI agent that was in charge of doing the investigation for the majority of these cases, some of these cases anyway. His name is John DeSosa, and he was doing an interview probably about 2 weeks ago, and alluded to the fact that this was here, that we could come and look at these files ourselves. He actually was the one that was giving this information away to the producers of the hit TV show, The X-Files, way back in the day. And evidently that got shut down. Essentially, his supervisor was like, no, stop talking to those people. You're going to get us all in trouble. Or I don't know if he was worried about getting in trouble, but they certainly at the time in the early 90s when that show was hitting, they really weren't as open with all this. Now we have Freedom of Information Act in our hands. So some of this stuff has been declassified to the point to where you can have access to it. Just a brief look at some of the file names here. I gotta admit, I love a good naming system for file structure, and they don't have it. It's just kind of whatever. It's Wild Wild West. But the first one that we come to is called Silas M. Newton. Silas Newton, 1887 to 1972, was a wealthy oil producer and a con man who claimed that he had a gadget that could detect minerals and oil. He was cited as an authority in Frank Scully's book, Behind the Flying Saucer Scully. That sounds familiar. A work that claimed to report on several UFO crashes in the area of New Mexico. In 1950, Newton said that a flying saucer crashed on land he leased in the Mojave Desert. However, he revised his claim in 1952, saying he never saw a flying saucer, but had only repeated comments he heard from others. These files detail the FBI's investigation into Newton's fraudulent activities between 1951 and 1970. So it would appear we are going to get an opportunity to kind of decide what our adventure is going to be, so to speak. Because I'd rather see what we got here and then maybe at a later date we come back and we dive a little deeper. Guy Hattel. Guy Hattel was a special agent in charge of the FBI's Washington field office. The information concerning Mr. Hattel is in regard to March 22nd, 1950, memo he sent to the FBI director concerning flying saucers. And it cites the memo. It says go see it go read it if you want to know more information. That is intriguing. We might have to look into that one a little further. The Majestic 12. Majestic 12, in 1988, 2 FBI offices received similar versions of a memo titled Operation Majestic 12, claiming to be highly classified government document. The memo appeared to be a briefing for newly elected President Eisenhower on a secret committee created to exploit a recovery of an extraterrestrial aircraft and cover up this work from public examination. An Air Force investigation determined the document to be fake. The next one up is the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon. National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon. The National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon was founded in the 1950s to research reports of UFO phenomenon. Between 1957 and 1969, NICAP and its members periodically communicated with the FBI. This release consists of this correspondence. The Roswell UFO. There was another TV show in the 90s that did okay. It wasn't greatest. That was popular around the same time that Buffy the Vampire Slayer was popular. And what was it? There's a Dawson's Creek. Couldn't wait till that show went off. So some good shit would come on. On July 8th, 1947, the FBI Dallas field office sent a teletype regarding a flying disc that resembled a high-altitude weather balloon found near Roswell, New Mexico. This single page is a serial from the larger UFO release found. Animal mutilation. Animal cattle mutilation in the mid-1970s. Reports of scattered animal mutilations in western and midwestern states concerned many people. The FBI was asked to investigate but was unable to do so because of a lack of jurisdiction, except when such mutilations were found on Indian land. These files consist mainly of press clippings and correspondence concerning the issues between 1974 and 1978. Extrasensory perception, or ESP, is considered a perception of information about events beyond what may be discerned through the 5 physical senses or deduced from past experiences or knowledge. The release consists of cross-references to ESP found in FBI files from 1957 to 1960. Several of the documents concern William Foos, a proponent of ESP. Others concern claims that ESP could be used in espionage investigations. The FBI found no scientific support for this and other claims and did not pursue the matters raised in these references. Hey, Jennifer, thank you for chiming in. Next one is UFO. Just blanket UFO. No, just blanket UFO. Nothing else. File naming structure, people. Like, come on, that's important stuff. In 1947, a rash of sightings of unexplained flying objects, UFOs, swept America, although the newly formed U.S. Air Force was the primary investigator of these sightings. The FBI received many reports and worked for a time with the Air Force to investigate these matters. This release details the FBI's role in investigating such reports between 1947 and 1954. Next up, we got Project Blue Book. That has a subtitle of UFO. We're getting there. We're getting a little bit more details. Project Blue Book. Originally, Project Blue Book was the Air Force name for a project that investigated UFO reports between 1947 and 1969. In 1989, an organization calling itself the New Project Blue Book contacted the FBI. This file consists of correspondence concerning this organization. Wait a damn minute. How in the world did this go down? This Project Blue Book started in 1947 all the way to 1969. And now all of a sudden we're seeing headlines and news stories all over the country talking about, well, we're ready to admit that UAPs do exist. So what the heck was this? Like all this stuff was just all this was for nothing? Hmm. 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 I'm going back over here to Guy Hotel. We're diving into this one. Let's see what his memo said. Wow, never mind. An investigator for the Air Force's the Air Force. This is an investigator for the Air Forces, multiple, states that 3 so-called flying saucers have been recovered in New Mexico. They were described as being circular in shape with raised centers, approximately 50 feet in diameter. Sorry, this is old typewriter stuff. I'm having a difficult time with it. Approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape, but only 3 foot tall, dressed in metallic cloth of a very fine texture. Each body was bandaged in a manner similar to the blackout suits used by speed flyers and test pilots. According to Mr. Blank, Mr. Blank's informant, the saucers were found in New Mexico due to the fact that the government had a very high-powered radar set up in that area, and it is believed the radar interferes with the controlling mechanism of the saucers. No further evaluation was attempted by redacted concerning the above. So somebody's name got redacted. What else we got here? Oh, it's only a 1-page document. Well, that is a memo, huh? No, no doggy. No doggy. No doggy. Okay. All right. See it be good. All right. Let's go back. Which one do we want to dive into a little bit deeper? Since Jennifer's in the chat, we're going to dive into extrasensory perception a little bit closer. What are you doing? Say hello to Dobby, everybody. ESP is considered a perception of information about events beyond what may be discerned through the five physical senses of or deduced from past experience or knowledge. This release consists of cross-references to ESP found in FBI files from 1957 to 1960. Several of the documents concern William Foos, a proponent of ESP. Other concern claims that ESP could be used in espionage investigations. The FBI found no scientific support for this, or other claims did not pursue the matters raised in these references. What is this pop-up? This is a government website. What do you want to sell me? You ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing. This is an office memorandum from the United States government. Lots of redacted stuff here, even still. Can we see it? I don't even know if I can read the stuff that's not redacted, if I'm being real. Mr. Foos resident, let's see. Mr. Foos resident of Richmond, Virginia, is a high school graduate employed in a minor capacity. What's the matter, man? What are you doing? Mr. Foos, resident of Richmond, Virginia, is a high school graduate employed in a minor capacity with the C&O Railway. About 2 years ago, he became interested in extrasensory perception, a term probably technically inaccurate, and began experimenting with members of his family. Well, when it's put like that, that's that doesn't bode well. We're gonna take these off. We don't need these. We don't need these stinking things because we don't have anyone joining us tonight, so it's okay. So he began. No, don't sniff the mic, bud. He began experimenting with members of his family. He claims to have achieved amazing success and in recent weeks has received a considerable amount of publicity in the Richmond area. He is holding a number of exhibitions locally in an apparent attempt to create interest in his ability to teach the blind to see. He has appeared at Duke University. That's in Chapel Hill, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That's where the Ryan Institute is now. Appeared at Duke University, where experiments have long been conducted on the power of extrasensory perception, and various government agencies, including the Veterans Administration, are very, very much interested. Very simply, Foos claims the ability to, this is horribly written, claims the ability to teach the blind to see, the 6 months to teach a person without eyes to see sufficiently well to drive an automobile safely. This cannot end well. He disclaims any supernatural power, and not being a scientist or physician has no technical or scientific explanation. He merely states that a person can do what he makes up his mind to do. He claims to have taught not only members of his family, but approximately 25 other individuals as well, including persons of complete person's completely blind, to see with 100% efficiency. To illustrate his ability, his daughter, Margaret Foos, about 16 to 7 years of age, was blindfolded by the observers with pads and an elastic band, thereafter reading, distinguishing color, and moving about the room with complete ease. She could read. Minute handwriting submitted by those in attendance accurately traced the written material and in all ways function without error as with complete vision. In answer to a question as to whether distance from was a factor, Foos stated that during one recent public exhibit, Margaret had distinguished colored balloons at a distance of 400 feet. In answer to another question as to whether motion would complicate the problem, Margaret played the childhood game of jacks using a small 1.5 diameter rubber ball, deftly retrieving it regardless of angle or bounce. Mr. Foos was questioned as to his ability to touch a person, to read an article covered by a pad, or to see through a wall. He at that time avoided a direct answer, stating that because of the defense aspects of such a possibility, he was not at liberty to discuss it. Later, however, in private conversation, he claimed that he had taught one of his students to accurately read an article completely obscured by heavy cardboard, and that teaching the ability to see beyond a solid masonry wall was merely a matter of degree. He would pursue his matter no further. Redacted name inquired of Foos as to his general method of teaching, whether individual tutoring was essential. He stated that he had taught a group with equal facility. He further stated that he had found it much easier and had greater success in teaching the physically blind rather than those with ordinary vision. Next paragraph is completely redacted. Should his claims be well founded, there is no limit to the value which could occur if the FBI complete and indetectable access to mail, the diplomatic pouch, visual access to buildings. The visibilities are unlimited insofar as law enforcement and counterintelligence are concerned. As fantastic as this may appear, the actuality of extrasensory perception was long. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's the matter, man? Like, what do you see I don't see? It's a little creepy, huh? As fantastic as this may appear, the actuality of extrasensory perception has long been recognized. You want down now? Is that what you want? Go check it out, man. As fantastic as this may appear, the actuality of extrasensory perception has long been recognized, though not to the degree of perfection claimed by Mr. Foos. It is difficult to see how the Bureau can afford to not inquire into this matter more. One of y'all astral projecting into my house right now. It's not creepy. It's not creepy. Bureau interest can be completely discreet and controlled, and no embarrassment would result. Hey, man. Um, I'll be back in just a second. Sorry. What are you doing? All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. Metaphysical Roundtable's chimed in now. This is a 40-page document. We're not going through it all. It's just not going to happen. I will come back to it, though. This is some interesting stuff. We left off at page 6. We're not reading a 40-page document tonight. It's not happening. I'm making a note. All right, let's look at some of these other files real quick. Extrasensory perception, already did that one. We did Guy Hotel. That was a 1-page document. Silas, what's up with this Majestic 12? That's a 24-page document in itself. First page, this communication is classified, secret in its entirety. Enclosed for the Bureau is an envelope which contains a possible classified document. On September 15th, 1988, United States Air Force Office contacted the Dallas FBI with an enclosed document, received the document from redacted. Claims that an individual at the school whom he refused to name gave it to him, claiming he received it in the mail. So it's a he, whoever this person is that got redacted. Dallas notes that within the last 6 weeks, there has been local publicity regarding Operation Majestic 12, with at least 2 appearances on a local radio talk show discussing the Majestic 12 operation. The individuals involved in the government's attempt to keep it all secret, it is unknown if this is all part of a publicity campaign. Which this was a couple of years prior to the situation with when the Blair Witch Project came out. It was the very, very early days of the internet, and people kind of buzzed around the news of the Blair Witch Project. And a lot of the success for that was in kind of grassroots marketing in the way of making this thing mysterious. So I could see why in 1988, not being far separated from that time period in our history, that people would already be thinking, "Hey, this is a possibility." From OSI advises that Operation Blue Book, mentioned in the document on page 4, did exist. Dallas realizes that the reported document is over 35 years old, but does not know if it has been properly declassified. Request of the Bureau. The Bureau is requested to discern if the document is still classified. Dallas will hold any investigation in abeyance until further direction from FBI HQ. So in big bold Sharpie marker, someone wrote the word bogus on this document. The secret magic eyes only. Bogus, bogus, bogus. Okay, I think we're getting back into the FBI, the legitimate, the FBI document that we're looking at. Unsubs, possible disclosure of classified information regarding Operation Majestic 12, Espionage X, Dallas. This communication is classified secret in its entirety. Reference Dallas Airtel dated October 25th, 1988. Reference Airtel requested that FBI HQ determine if the document enclosed by reference Airtel was classified or not. So this person's name was Airtel, maybe? Or is that a company? The Office of Special Investigations, U.S. Air Force, advised on November 30th, 1988, that the document was fabricated. Copies of that document have been distributed to various parts of the United States. The document is completely bogus. Dallas is too close. Captioned investigation. More redacted information. Note, this advises Dallas that the document was bogus and the case should be closed. Okay. This communication is classified confidential in its entirety. Resource tail calls between SSA, redacted, Salt Lake City, and SSA, redacted. This was in 1991. October 25th, 1991. They didn't get it all. They didn't get it all redacted. And December 30th, 1991. Enclosed for FBI HQ is the below mentioned 9-page document dated 11/18/52. November 18th, 1952. Request of the Bureau, pursuant to instructions relayed from Dad, H.B. Brandon III, via reference secure telecall on 10/30/1991. Should attempt to determine any DoD interest in the enclosed document. I don't understand why, if this was considered bogus, why all this was redacted from public record. Like, it just seems very bizarre. Like, this is a fake document. This is a document about a fake document. And we're going to redact parts of the fake document and parts of this document too. What is that exactly being hidden here? Mm-hmm. Real quick, I want to tell you guys to go check out our merch store over on our website, fringetoast.com. Go ahead and support your Fringe Toast and support me, support the rest of the team, and our march toward truth, for better or worse, in our own minds. But hey, it's a comfortable shirt. I don't have it on right now, but I sport it on a regular. I would appreciate any kind of support you could throw at us that way. So what do we want to get into next, guys? Are you chiming in with the only people in the chat right now are Jennifer and Metaphysical Roundtable, and it may be Rachel. It may be Rachel, and that's manning the Metaphysical Roundtable, but nonetheless, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you. I don't want to do the animal mutilations. I ain't got the stomach for that shit. We could dive into Project Blue Book, but I'm not for real feeling it. What do y'all think? Project Blue Book. Unidentified flying objects. This office recently received a public inquiry regarding UFOs, referred to us from the Bureau as the enclosed fact sheet indicates. The Air Force's Project Blue Book investigation of UFOs was determined on December 17, 1969. And all related documentation was turned over to the National Archives and Record Service. The inquiry referred to us as, I believe, so December 17, 1969 would have been shortly after Woodstock, and I believe 69 was when Woodstock occurred. I have to look into it. It's not that important. I don't know. It's just in my mind. I don't know if this is true for the rest of you, but in my mind, it helps me when I'm talking about older dates to kind of picture where the rest of the country was at the same time period. That's kind of like the Forrest Gump movie. That movie, in my opinion, was a masterpiece in that it was really able to kind of showcase American culture and American history in each facet of the man's life. So whenever I see a date, I typically try to think about, what else was going on around that time. So 1969, I think, was the year that Woodstock happened. I think that it happened in October, I want to believe. So around that same period. The inquiry, all related documentation was turned over to the National Archives and Record Service. The inquiry referred to us has been apprised of these events. Hopefully, the enclosed fact sheet will be of help in responding to any future inquiries on this subject. Sincerely, H.A. McClellan, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force. They just left his name out there in the open, but yet they redacted all this other stuff. I don't get it. On December 17th, 1969, the Secretary of the Air Force announced the termination of Project Blue Book, the Air Force program for the investigation of UFOs. The decision to discontinue UFO investigations was based on an evaluation of a report prepared by the University of Colorado entitled The Scientific Study of Unidentified Flying Objects, a review of the University of Colorado's report by the National Academy of Sciences, Past UFO Studies and Air Force Experience Investigating UFO Reports During the Past 2 Decades. As a result of these investigations and studies, and experience gained from the investigating UFO reports since 1948, the conclusion of Project Blue Book are no UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the U.S. Air Force has ever given any indication of threat to our national security. That's worded very strangely. I'll come back to that thought here in just a second. There has been no evidence submitted to or discovered by the Air Force that sightings categorized as unidentified represent present-day scientific knowledge. And there has been there again, that's very oddly worded. You know, you can say something without saying it. Am I digging too deep? Am I looking into this too deeply? Has ever given represents technology or developments of principles beyond the range of present-day scientific knowledge. And there has been no evidence indicating that sightings categorized as unidentified are extraterrestrial vehicles. There again, I kind of feel like they're saying things without saying things. You know? They're like, yeah, we found out it was us. Or maybe that's what the big shebang is. That's what it is. We found out it was us. It's ours. So it does. We do understand it now. So it does fall under the scientific category, and it's not extraterrestrial because it's us. It's us from a different time. Maybe that's it. No, I'm just joshing you. Well, with the termination of Project Blue Book, the Air Force regulation establishing and controlling the program for investigating and analyzing UFOs was rescinded. All documentation regarding the former Blue Book investigation has been permanently transferred to the modern military branch, National Archives and Records Service, 8th and Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., and is available for public review and analysis. Attached for your information is the Project Blue Book sighting summary for the period of 1947 to 1969. Also included is a listing of UFO-related materials currently available. Since the termination of Project Blue Book, no evidence has been presented to indicate that further investigation of UFOs by the Air Force is warranted. In view of the considerable Air Force commitment of resources in the past, the extreme pressure on Air Force funds at this time, there is no likelihood of renewed Air Force involvement in this area. So in 1947, 122 total sightings, 122 total sightings, 12 unidentified. Wait a minute. They have a spreadsheet here, Jennifer. They have a spreadsheet in front. It's not one that it's not like on Excel, but this was the best. This was the closest to a spreadsheet that they could have come up with at the time. Right? 1947, 122 sightings, 12 were unidentified. 1948, 156 sightings, 7 were unidentified. 1949, 186, with 22 unidentified. 1950, 210, 27 unidentified. 1951, 169 with 22 unidentified. 1952, there was 1,501 sightings, and 303 of those were unidentified. So I don't understand. Like, this list goes on. There's more of this list. I'm not going to go through it tonight, but there's more here. But that last one was a huge ass number. That's a big ass number to me. 1,501 sightings and 303 of them are unidentified. What do you mean there was no cause for further investigating? There was no further cause for investigating? 303 sightings were unidentified. Starting to get the high voice. Scientific study of unidentified flying objects. Study conducted by the University of Colorado under contract. Blah, 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 blah. 3 volumes, 1,465 pages, 68 plates. What? I don't know. We're going to scroll past this. Again, the link is in the description if you'd like to go and check this out. This is the file labeled Project Blue Book UFO. There are a number of universities and professional scientific organizations, such as the American Association for the Advancement of Science, which have considered UFO phenomena during periodic meetings and seminars. In addition, a list of private organizations interested in serial phenomena may be found in Gale's Encyclopedia of Associations, edition 8, volume 1. Such timely review of the situation by private groups ensures that sound evidence will not be overlooked by the scientific community. Here's a letter to Colonel McClellan. Dear Colonel I'm having a hard time. McClellan. Mr. Mansfield, Malcolm, Manfold has brought you a letter of January 14th with enclosure to my attention. I join him in thanking you for sending us a copy of your UFO fact sheet for apprising us for the termination of your project. Okay, so let's fast forward now 20 years into the future, and there's a document here in front of me called the New Project Blue Book. Mr. William S. Sessions, Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation, U.S. Department of Justice, Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. Sessions, your letter of September 1st has been received, and I'm very appreciative of hearing from you. Your letter presented information that I had already mentioned to you in my letter of July 24th. So this was information I knew I had given. I had given this to you as advance information that you would probably receive from other government agencies and departments, which is the standard release material. Again, the New Project Blue Book is a civilian continuation of the original Project Blue Book, which did close in 1969. Here, 20 years later, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit, if that will help. Probably not, but I'll give it a shot. Thank you for your patience, everyone, for sure. I have been to the National Archives and have looked at some of the original Blue Book material that is there. I met with persons at NASA headquarters in Washington following the receipt of the request from President Carter. I met with President Carter's chief scientific advisors, personnel at the new executive offices of the president. I sent reports to the original Project Blue Book and know some of its former personnel, etc. So I know the whole scheme of things pertaining to UFOs, except for the hidden intelligence gathering agencies' participation with regard to the better UFO sightings reports, and which are to this day real hard unknowns. Your response is appreciated. Please accept my very best wishes. Sincerely, redacted. So we don't even know who this letter came from. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, guys. For real, this has been fun. This is actually, I cannot wait to like dig further into this and probably do some short videos over on our YouTube channel. If you're not familiar, we publish stuff on a regular basis over there. So go over there and subscribe. I try to put up at least 2 videos a week on current events and whatnot. Sometimes though, it's about historical stuff. So maybe I'll dive into this a little deeper on that format, but I think I'm done for the night. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. I'm going to get some rest, and we'll hit it first thing in the week. Before we go, I did want to wish a happy birthday to Michael Camp. Michael Camp had a birthday this week. Another person that follows us is Nicole Grossi. She had a birthday this week, so happy birthday to those folks. I really, really do appreciate it. And thank you very much, Metaphysical Roundtable, for your support all around. But that's going to be all. It ain't been George Norrie and it ain't Coast to Coast, but I'm Bobby. You've been served some fresh Fringe toast. Y'all take it easy. Peace.